Let me tell you something. When God places you in a difficult situation, it's not because he's forgotten you. It's because he's positioning you. You may think it's punishment, but it's preparation. You may see the pain, but God sees the purpose behind it. You keep asking, why me, God? But heaven is saying, why not you? Why not you to carry the lesson that will lift someone else? Why not you to show that favor doesn't always show up wrapped in comfort? Sometimes it's hidden in the storm. You see, favor isn't always flashy. Sometimes favor looks like a closed door that forces you to grow. Sometimes favor looks like being left alone because God needed silence to shape you. He's not breaking you down, he's building you up. So don't run from the difficulty, walk through it. Because that's where the unlocking happens. That's where you discover what you're made of. God didn't send that challenge to crush you. He sent it to release something powerful within you. When life pushes you into a season you didn't plan for, it's easy to think something's gone wrong. But what if that difficult season isn't an accident? What if it's a divine setup? Sometimes God will shake the ground beneath you, not to destroy you, but to shift you. You thought the door closed because you failed, but God closed it because he's leading you to something greater. You thought the people who walked away were the problem, but God was clearing the space so your next blessing would have room to land. Every divine setup looks uncomfortable at first. It feels unfair. It looks like loss. But the truth is, God hides his greatest work inside the moments we least understand. When you can't trace his hand, you have to trust his heart. You may not see the reason, but he does. That heartbreak, that rejection, that season of waiting, none of it is wasted. God is setting the stage for something only you can carry, something that needed this kind of breaking to be born. You see, setup seasons are not punishment, they're preparation. Before David was king, he was hiding in caves. Before Joseph wore the robe of favor, he was thrown into a pit. Before any promise comes to pass, there's always a process that tests your faith and shapes your character. God is more interested in who you become through the trial than how fast you come out of it. Because if you come out too soon, you'll miss the strength that only the struggle could teach you. So don't curse the season you're in. Don't despise the days that feel dry and uncertain. This setup is working in your favor. It's stretching your faith. It's sharpening your discernment. It's teaching you to depend on something greater than yourself. The same God who allowed the storm has already prepared the breakthrough. You might not see it yet, but the setup is already unfolding behind the scenes. And when the time is right, what felt like a setback will reveal itself as the very thing that positions you for elevation. Hold steady in the storm. You're not being buried, you're being planted. Pain has a way of pulling something out of you that comfort never could. Nobody wants to hurt, but the truth is some lessons can only be learned in the fire. When life wounds you, it's not always to destroy you. Sometimes it's to awaken something inside you that's been sleeping. The pain you feel today may be the tool God uses to push you into your purpose. Every tear, every disappointment, every closed door carries a message. There is more in you than you realize. We often pray for purpose, but we rarely realize what it costs. Purpose doesn't show up wrapped in ease, it's born through struggle. The very thing that made you question your strength is what's shaping it. Think about it. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and gold is purified in fire. So if you're going through pain, it doesn't mean you're being punished. It means something valuable is being developed in you. God never wastes pain. He uses it as a passageway to bring you closer to who you're meant to be. There are moments when the hurt cuts deep, when you don't understand why certain things had to happen. But purpose often hides behind confusion. Sometimes God will let your heart break just enough for his light to shine through the cracks. You may not see it now, but later you'll realize that what broke you also built you. The people who left, the job you lost, the plans that fell apart, they weren't the end of your story. They were the beginning of your transformation. Pain teaches compassion. It humbles you. It makes you see life differently. When you've been through something real, you stop chasing approval and start seeking meaning. That's how purpose is born. Not from what went right, but from what went wrong and still didn't destroy you. So instead of asking, Why did this happen to me? Start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Because every wound can become wisdom if you let God use it. Your pain has a purpose. It's preparing you for something you can't yet see, shaping you for the kind of destiny that can only be built on endurance, faith, and trust. There are seasons when God will pull you away from everything familiar, the noise, the crowd, even the people you thought you couldn't live without. It's not rejection, it's separation for revelation. When God isolates you, He's not punishing you. He's inviting you. He's saying, come away with me so I can show you something they can't see. Sometimes you can't hear the whisper of direction until everything else around you goes quiet. Isolation feels lonely, but it's holy ground. It's where the noise of opinions fades and the truth of who you are begins to surface. When you're surrounded by people, it's easy to lose yourself trying to please them. But when God removes the crowd, you're forced to face your own reflection. Your fears, your faith, and your foundation. That's when revelation begins. You start to see that your worth was never in their approval, your peace was never in their presence, and your calling was never meant to be confirmed by them. Some of your deepest growth won't happen in the spotlight. It will happen in the quiet places where no one's watching. Moses found his calling in the wilderness. Elijah heard God not in the wind or fire, but in the still small voice. Even Jesus often withdrew to pray alone. There's something sacred about solitude. God speaks differently when you're alone. Clearer, deeper, and more directly to your soul. Don't rush out of your isolation. It's the womb of transformation. What feels like silence is actually strategy. God is rewiring your heart, restoring your focus, and revealing who you really are beneath all the noise. People might not understand why you've pulled back, why you're quiet, or why you're moving differently, but that's fine. Isolation isn't meant to be explained. It's meant to be experienced. So if you're in a season where you feel hidden, don't fight it. Embrace it. You're not being forgotten, you're being refined. You're not being left behind, you're being lifted to a higher level of clarity and purpose. When this season ends, you'll step out stronger, wiser, and more aligned with what God created you to do. Because isolation doesn't break you, it births revelation. When a door closes, our first reaction is usually disappointment. We think something went wrong, or maybe we missed our chance. But what if that closed door wasn't rejection? What if it was protection? Sometimes God will shut a door you were ready to walk through because He knows what's on the other side isn't ready for you. He's not withholding something good. He's saving you from something that could have delayed your destiny. Every closed door is God's way of saying, trust me, there's more ahead. It's easy to praise God when everything opens smoothly, but real faith shows up when you're standing in front of a locked door with no key and no explanation. That's the moment when trust becomes real. Closed doors test your patience, your faith, and your perspective. They remind you that your life isn't built on what you can control. It's built on what you can believe. Sometimes the blessing isn't in what opens, but in what stays closed. Think back on your life. There are situations you once cried over that you now thank God didn't work out. The job you didn't get, the relationship that fell apart, the opportunity that slipped away, those weren't losses, they were lessons. If that door had opened, it might have led you somewhere smaller than what God had planned. He sees the whole picture while you only see the moment. Closed doors redirect you toward better ones that you didn't even know existed. When God closes a door, He doesn't need your understanding, just your obedience. He's not asking you to figure out why. He's asking you to keep walking. Because closed doors don't mean the story is over. They're simply pauses between preparation and promotion. God will never close one door without preparing another that leads to greater purpose. So instead of standing there in frustration, thank Him. Thank Him for what didn't happen. Thank Him for what didn't go your way, because behind that closed door is protection, direction, and divine timing. One day you'll look back and realize that the doors you thought were blocking you were actually guiding you. What felt like a denial was really a hidden blessing waiting to unfold at just the right time. Faith doesn't grow in comfort, it grows in conflict. It's easy to believe when everything's working in your favor, but true faith is proven when nothing makes sense and you choose to trust God anyway. The fire is not there to destroy you. It's there to develop you. Every challenge, every delay, every trial is the heat that strengthens what you believe. If faith is the foundation of your life, then the fire is the furnace that makes it unshakable. When you're in the fire, you start to see what's real. The things that were just words or emotions begin to fall away, and what's left is genuine trust. That's why God allows testing. Not to see if you believe, but to show you that your belief is stronger than you thought. The fire strips away what's temporary and reveals what's eternal. It teaches you that even when everything else burns, His promises still stand. Every great testimony is born in the fire. The moments that tested you the most will one day become the stories that inspire others. Faith that has never been tested can't be trusted because you don't know its strength until it's faced resistance. The fire teaches endurance. It teaches surrender. It teaches you that God doesn't need ideal conditions to perform His best work. He shows up most powerfully in the middle of the heat when you have nothing left to depend on but Him. There will be seasons when you feel like the flames are too high, when you're wondering if you'll make it out. But remember this, God doesn't waste fire. He controls it. He knows exactly how hot it can get and how long it should last. You may come out looking different, but that's the point. You're not meant to be who you were before the trial. You're meant to come out purified, stronger, and more certain of who God is. So if you find yourself walking through fire right now, don't panic. Keep walking. The same God who allowed the heat will walk you through it. The fire that feels unbearable today will soon become the proof of your endurance tomorrow. Faith doesn't burn in the fire. It's built by it. Every struggle carries a secret. It's never just about what you're going through. It's about what God is preparing to release through you. Struggle isn't a sign that you're forgotten. It's often the evidence that favor is forming. God uses difficulty as a delivery system for destiny. When everything feels heavy and hard, that's when something powerful is being birthed in your life. The same pressure that feels unbearable is the pressure that unlocks the next level of grace. Favor doesn't always come in a gentle package. Sometimes it comes wrapped in frustration, disappointment, and long nights of wondering if you'll ever make it out. But the truth is, you're not fighting alone. God is in the middle of the struggle, shaping it for your good. Every time you refuse to give up, every time you trust when you can't see the outcome, heaven takes note. That endurance opens doors no man can shut. It unlocks blessings that only obedience can attract. You can't receive supernatural favor by living an ordinary life. There are some levels of favor that only open after you've survived the breaking. Think about how every great story begins with a struggle. Before the victory, there's always a valley. Before the crown, there's always a cross. The struggle doesn't mean you're losing. It means something divine is happening behind the scenes. God is aligning people, places, and opportunities that you can't yet see. The reason it hurts is because you're being stretched to fit the size of your next blessing. You're being prepared to carry more, to handle more, to walk in greater authority. The pain you feel right now is proof that you're being positioned for increase. God's favor is not cheap. It's refined in struggle, sealed in faith, and revealed in time. So don't despise the struggle. It's not the end of your story. It's the birthplace of your breakthrough. When you come out of this, you won't just come out with what you lost. You'll come out with wisdom, strength, and supernatural favor that can't be earned or explained. The very thing that tried to break you will become the reason you rise. Because every struggle, no matter how hard, carries the power to unlock the favor that changes everything. So hear me when I say this. You are not in that storm by accident. You are not facing that struggle because God forgot you. You are standing in the middle of a divine setup. Everything you've been through, every delay, every disappointment, every lonely night has been working together to position you for something greater. God never wastes a season. The pain had purpose. The silence had meaning. The waiting was preparation. He's been shaping your heart, building your endurance, and teaching you to trust Him when you couldn't trace Him. And now you're about to see why you had to go through what you went through. What once felt like a burden is about to reveal itself as a blessing. You didn't lose time. You were being refined in time. You didn't fall behind. You were being aligned. God had to take you the long way so you could handle the favor that's coming your way. Because when that door opens, it won't just open for you. It will open through you. Someone else's breakthrough is tied to your obedience. So stand tall in your faith. Hold your head up, even in the fire. What's pressing you now will soon prove what's inside you. You've been tested, you've been tried, but you're still standing. And that means your story isn't over. It's just shifting. You're walking out of this season carrying strength, clarity, and supernatural favor that only comes from God. The struggle didn't stop you, it shaped you. The pain didn't break you, it built you. The waiting didn't waste you, it worked in your favor. So when you walk out of this storm, walk out with gratitude, because now you know. Every difficult situation wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to unlock what God had already placed inside you. The storm didn't take you down, it lifted you up. And what's waiting on the other side is greater than anything you've ever lost. Thank you.